You know, Mr. Mike, it is very seldom that I am, because you know me relatively well. I'm not in fact, I got so mad that I started calling friends to talk me off the ledge. And I'm talking about in the House of Representatives yesterday. Well, you tell the story what Congressman Schiff did.
Well, among other things, the latest episode in the ongoing impeachment charade, which, by the way, Robert, as you know, started way back in January, 3 years ago, as soon as President Trump took office. They're driven so much by their just hatred for the president. They want to take him down, and the impeachment train left the station a long time before this latest supposed scandal. But yesterday, Adam Schiff, who's my colleague, who is the chairman of the Intel Committee in the House, put on what's been described this morning as something more akin to a Saturday Night Live skit than a congressional hearing, and he read a kind of a fictional fantasy version of the transcript of the president's phone call with Ukraine's President Zelensky, and he added in all this quid pro quo language and all of this. It was not the actual transcript, which, of course, every American citizen has access to right now and probably has a copy of.
Why would he get up there and read what's lies?
Why would he lie?
Because, guys, there's no there there. I mean, I got called, Robert, I was talking people off the ledge yesterday as well, because I had constituents, some I hadn't heard from in a long time, just calling me so frustrated, so angry, because this looks to the American people like nothing more than just another baseless investigation, in the far left's vendetta against the president. And as I said, they are just so desperate to take him down. They want to take him down. They want to distract the American people from the fact that our conservative reforms and policies are working. And it is just so sad to see them steamroll right over the truth, due process, every sense of fairness, just to appease the most radical elements of their base. And what is suffering at the end of the day is the credibility of our institutions. And as I've said so many times before, and we've talked about on the show before, to me, that is the great fear, that we lose the American people's faith in our institutions. And in a constitutional republic, in a government of, by, and for the people, you have to maintain that. It's a presupposition to keep our democracy going.
And then on top of that, Speaker Pelosi, I guess it was later in the day yesterday, she said she literally termed the White House release of the transcript of the conversation with the Ukrainian president, she called that a cover-up. Mike, I'm spitting at the TV. I don't know what talk me off the ledge. They've lost their minds.
They really have. Yesterday, it's a stunning level of hypocrisy on top of all this, because before she was Speaker, Representative Pelosi, if you rewind 20 years ago, 1998, the last time impeachment came up in Congress, she said exactly the opposite. We circulated a video montage of their impassioned floor speeches back in 1998. Today, they're pushing impeachment without any evidence or facts, but back then, it was exactly the opposite. They said partisan impeachment would destroy our democracy, and she said, quote, "We're bringing dishonor to it with our hypocrisy, and the Republican majority is not judging the president with fairness, but impeaching him with a vengeance." I mean, it's the exact same thing
if you want to
are doing today.
If you want to use the old cliche, throw the baby out with the bathwater, is the baby in this case going to be Joe Biden and Hunter Biden as the media that cares gets more and more into this? Is it going to be uncovered?
And was that the whole purpose? I'm hearing that, they just don't want, the Democrats don't want Joe Biden.
Well, that's one of the theories that is floating on Capitol Hill right now, that this was all planned to draw attention to the Bidens and to get them out of the way so that Elizabeth Warren or Bernie or one of the more radical candidates can get the nomination. And I don't doubt anything anymore. I mean, we're in bizarro world right now. But the problem is, not only are we losing, as we said, the faith of the American people, we're angering the people, we're dialing up the level of hatred and vitriol in politics and all the rest. But you also have some very serious implications to this that affects our national security and the president's ability to do his job. And I'm not just talking about President Trump.
No, excuse me.
But anyone
the CIA,
who comes after him later.
The CIA was spying on the president.
Yeah. And by the way, we don't know who this was yet, but we know today. I mean, this is the third leak like this third of its kind concerning a president's conversation with a world leader. And already world leaders are saying, they're all thinking it. But in the last 24 hours, you've had a couple come out and say, look, I'm going to be reluctant to have a conversation with the president of the United States now because I don't want my words being put out for the whole world to see.
Yeah.
The leader of El Salvador said that last night. And the Ukrainian president, Zelensky himself, said, I gave permission for the president's side of the conversation to be leaked, but not mine. You know, this affects our ability to maintain our stature as the world's superpower. This is not a partisan game. This isn't about politics. We got to defend the country, and it's at stake right now.
And at the end of the day, to use that cliche, what this really says is everybody that all along on our side of the aisle, your side of the aisle, that has said this is nothing more than, it's frightening to say, it is literally an inside the government deep state coup trying to overthrow a president. And that's terrifying.
It is, and you know me, I am very measured in my approach to these things. I believe in the Constitution. I believe in due process. I believe in our systems, and they're imperiled right now, and that is what it looks like. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, Robert. I dispel almost everything I hear in these arenas, but I'm telling you, this is out on naked display for the entire country to see and to watch. The leaders of these committees, the Democrat leaders of all of our committees, you know, Nadler in Judiciary, that's my committee. I mean, almost every day we're engaging in some sort of investigation of the president, and we have been doing that since the beginning of the 116th Congress in January. And what that means, of course, is that it takes all of our time. It takes all the energy out of the room to do anything of substance for the American people. We can't fix the border crisis. We can't fix immigration. We can't do anything on all these big issues. The Judiciary Committee has probably the largest jurisdiction, broadest jurisdiction of any committee in Congress, and we are stuck in stalemate on these partisan hack. It's a farce. It really is, and it's so frustrating to us.